Tim's Texas adventure at the Video Marketing World Conference. Coming up next on Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. Well, that was a nice experiment. And good morning, everybody. Good day, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. This is Roland from MinMax Media, bringing you the minimum you need for maximum impact. And I sponsor the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties show on the DIYLivestreamingshow.com website. Now, there's a mouthful. I got to figure out a way to slim that down a little bit. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show. I've got too much to talk about, and I can't say it all. That's why Tim is going to be doing a lot of the talking today. And Tim is usually my assistant on the show. We call him the comment wrangler. But today, he's bringing the main guts and glory of what we have to do to present you the content and the information. So without further ado, you know me. My name's Roland. This is Tim. Tim, say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Morning, everybody. Tim Longwell. I'm co-owner and partner of Longwell Art. My son is my co-owner and partner, and is also an artist. We're in southeastern Oklahoma, and our goal is to help people reignite their creativity and gain the mental and physical benefits from creating and the stress relief that comes with it.
Real good. And I really back your concept up fully. And when you get your program going any way I can help, I want to be a participant if I can and support what you're doing. You're helping people in some very, very deep ways. So I appreciate your stand. But we sent you on a trip, or that is, you sent yourself on a trip a couple weeks ago to Texas. And you drove a couple, 3 hours to a conference and an overnight stay and an all-day event and what's called a Video Marketing World Conference. I'm finally getting that mouthful smooth. But a lot of big people were at the event, big names in social media and in video marketing, and you had quite an experience. So what was the overall, I mean, would you do it again? Tell us a little bit about the event in general, and then we're going to get into the specifics in a little bit.
Would I do it again? Yeah, I'm working on getting the tickets for two, myself and my son, for this year. And it's going to be a little bit bigger ticket item this year than it was last year, but it's also going to be 2 days in a resort location. So it's going to be a nice, well-rounded package event. That this way they're doubling the speakers, so it'll be double the information. If you're looking at video, and you should be, 1984, Microsoft said by 2020, 98% or more of the internet would be video. That was in 1984. Statistics today are, Mark Zuckerberg is saying, in 2019, 2020 at the latest, Facebook will be all video.
Wow.
Twitter is looking to make native live streaming part of their regular tweet stream, as opposed to separate in Periscope. Instagram, Snapchat, these are all instant now video platforms, as well as the long term of YouTube that adds searchability to your video content for future evergreen content. So yes, it's something that I'm definitely planning on. I'm actually part of. I'm creating some of that content in our Create for Contentment environment. As you can see, the studio behind me, that's our recording, where I do my artwork and we record it at the same time, as well as help you learn creativity so that you can get the mental and health benefits that comes from that creativity.
Very cool. And the event being twice as long, I mean, there's so much when they schedule these speakers, you know, in sequencing in 1 hour segments, they put so much into 45 minutes. It's incredible. So one of the things that people may or may not have been aware of is that below the video where you're watching the live show today on the DIYLivestreamingshow.com website, we have the videos available for you to watch right there below the video, below the live stream today. So let me just check first of all and confirm that we are broadcasting in the website, so that, yeah, we are broadcasting. And that's all cool. Okay, so everything's intact. I'm going to be watching the best I can the comments today, and so we can take that off your hands a bit, and that way I can ask you some questions, and then you're responsible for the content, the flow of the content. But a few things that I'm really happy about is that they're emphasizing video so strongly, and we talk about the percentages. The main thing that we need to know is that we must consider video as part of our campaign, no matter what we're doing.
It's no longer an option.
Yeah, and it's an option if you're just too chicken to try it. But for those of us that have tried it, we realize that it's like, it ain't no big deal. To get started, it's not that big a deal. Plus, the environment of video has adjusted so much to be more realistic, more authentic, does not have to be perfect, so that overproduced videos are considered almost too perfect, or they're considered propaganda, and people reject that. And in a world where advertising is mostly rejected, we need to revise how we put our campaigns together, so it's not advertising, so it's more educational, so it's more sharing, so that people watch and share what they're interested in, not what you want to tell them. So it's a very interesting world right now. And getting back to your adventure, Tim, let's pick a couple things that you think were just monumentally important. I know that there's too much to choose from, and I know that watching the videos, I came up with some huge things that I would want to spend this entire hour on. But we're committed to an overview today, handpicking some of the things that you think really stand out. So let's pick one and get into it.
We started to cover some of it this last week when we talked a little, or 2 weeks ago, when we talked a little bit about run of the show. And Vivek at the time mentioned, so basically a checklist, or maybe it was Lowell Ann, but I don't remember someone mentioning, so basically a checklist. Yeah, basically a run of show is a checklist, but it's a structured checklist. And there are actually two checklists if you look at it that way. There's one that lays out the show itself and the pacing of the show. And then there's an overall checklist of what you do before, during, and after a live video broadcast. And each of these add components that, for those that have managed to have a chance to watch Owen's video on multi-purposing your content, is that way, this checklist that he lines out there literally allows you to use all or parts of your content, whether it's a recording live like this or a recording like I'm making behind me, that you can use for more than one video to optimize your time that you're using for recording either live or in the studio.
So the whole concept
Also,
of
there's
repurposing, right?
yeah. The other thing that we need to think about is the way we do our content. I can remember in the early days on Google Hangouts, when Google Plus first announced the format we're using today, everybody had a live show. With Blab, it was the same thing. Everybody had a live broadcast, but most of it was rather haphazard. There wasn't a structure to the show itself. There wasn't a purpose to it. A lot of them wound up giant coffee breaks, really, if you remember back that far. Some of them were interviews and trying to get to know different people, so they were a multi-avenue reach out and interact and engage. But as we've come forward, people are expecting a certain thing out of us. Go ahead. What?
I'm sorry. I want to remember to do two things. I'm freezing for one thing. It's my meds. But I want to acknowledge the people, and I also am reading the comments, and I'm just like, the KFC comes into the picture, and I'll have to describe why in a minute. But go ahead. I'm just laughing at what the comments.
Yeah, I see Vivek's there now. Yeah, it's remembering to hit refresh over on my side because I'm doing this at a different shot here. Let's see, where was I? Oh, the other thing, so that when we're developing this checklist, there's a way we want to lay that out when we're laying out our checklist, and that's the order in which we put stuff forward. Remember, one of the things that we're doing by creating a video is we're providing information. So we've identified a problem, and that's where we need to start with our video. There's a problem. They want entertained, they want information and inspiration, or they want they want inspired, entertained, or
Educated.
Thank you. And most of us that are making content fall into one of those three categories. The key is to use the right layout so that we pique their interest. So we got to find the problem. We know the solution, whether it's one we provide or one we're showing someone to use, or our guest on our show is providing the solution for. They're there. So you're trying to cover two there. You're solving a problem by offering your product or your guest, and you're educating them about how to deal with this problem. And if they want more information, this is how they can get it. Or, like with mine, it actually falls into all three categories because it's inspirational, it's educational, and it provides entertainment because people like to watch painters paint for some reason. And that's okay. I enjoy it. I'm glad they enjoy following along.
It all started with John Nagy several decades ago.
You know, right? I can remember, I don't remember the artist's name, but I can remember in school for art class portion of grade school, they turned on the TV and we watched a guy draw, and we were supposed to draw along with him while we watched the program.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That was part of our art program.
I was thinking of John Nagy, who used to come on once a week. His last name was spelled G-N-A-G-Y, and he would get on board and draw and do different things. And I was just mesmerized by this guy doing things on TV, showing me how to do things that I would want to do at home or whatever. By the way, before we go on, and I'll let you collect yourself for our next move into the next subject, but I wanted to acknowledge, I really appreciate the people who showed up today. And I noticed that Barbara Quick is out there. We Wake is out there. Lowell Ann is out there. And I also saw Kathy Pop. How you doing? And that's about it. But I wanted to make sure that there, and Aaron from Stroke TV is out there. I appreciate you guys showing up, and thank you very much. If you have questions for Tim, if we bring up things that sparks some kind of an idea with you, if you have questions, put them in the comment stream and we'll attend to them as much as we can. And we'll also absolutely follow up after the show with any question that were not answered during the show itself. So, and being as busy as we are, I may not get too many things actually displayed, but if someone puts a comment there that's really display worthy, I'll be sure to get it up there. So anyway, that's our mid-quarter break for the show, and we can move on to the next subject. And I do have a few things that I would like to add also, but let's let you go and hit the rest of your subjects.
So when we're developing this, one of the things we want to look at is we want to create, after we've captured their attention and acknowledged the problem, whatever reason they're there for, and the solution we're providing, however it is, then we want to develop credibility. In the old infomercials, they were credibility, 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 call to action. This is how you get the product. For us, the layout is a little different in that we do the capture of the attention, solve the problem, or acknowledge the problem, offer a solution, then we offer some credibility, like our guest or our subject for the discussion for today or the demonstration we're going to provide. Then offer a soft call to action. An example would be, in my case, if you'd like to learn more about creating and the benefits that you feel for creating, check out my website and subscribe to my YouTube channel as an example. Your soft call to action may be make a note of our web address or our telephone number, or type X in the comments because of other features that we can use in our videos and in our social media to help direct so that's a soft call to action. Then we add some more credibility, some more solid reason that we're actually providing a valid solution that make people believe in what we're saying. And then an interesting thing that was brought out is the gush. What is it that makes people want to share a video, want to come back and review your content? It has to touch them emotionally. And the big touchstone is laughter. If you can make someone laugh, they want everybody to laugh with them. Think about it. The videos that go viral a lot of times are the videos that show how somebody fell through the ice, the pool, and slid across the ice because it was frozen, tripped and rolled down a hill or fell in a mud puddle. These are the things, they make us laugh at other people's misfortunes, and everybody shares them to all their friends. So you want to touch that emotional at the end, towards the end there, that hooks them and makes them say, Dave's got to see this, Joe's got to see this, Mary's got to see this. And if you can lay all those things out, then you're going to have more success in reaching your desired point with your audience. Because go ahead.
I would love to add to this because this is pointing out a very important thing. So many people want to produce a video, and the goal that they have in mind starts out with, how can I get people to buy my product? And what marketers and what brands are discovering today is, no, we tell a story to hook the emotion of the people, and people buy when they like you and trust you and those things. And that's what the video establishes. It doesn't sell the product. It promotes the brand, and then people result in buying the product. And so it's kind of a side swipe, but it's way more effective than putting an ad in front of people and expecting them to want to buy it. So, I mean, it's a complete restructuring of your campaign, right? And this is what I think that people miss so often when they get started with web design or advertising or promoting and doing all that. They think, how can I put the best ad in front of people, short and sweet, and how can I get the best return on investment? And we have this ROI bug stuck in our minds that we have to achieve, but it is not the actual process to the goal.
And I think what's missed there too is that, yes, you still want to get to the ROI, but the reality of ROI is video is one of the first steps in a funnel type process.
Right.
Because no matter whether you show $1 million worth of commercials on the television, tons of ads in magazines and newspapers, or millions of dollars on video, it still comes down to most people don't buy the first time they see it. You are not going to say, okay, here's what I got. Here's how it fixes your problem. Go buy it. Oh, that's interesting. I'll bookmark that and I'll go back and check it out later. They may visit your site 1 to 50 times or more before they commit to buying your product.
I think that it was mentioned by one of the people in the 6 videos that the average number of views before people respond somehow, whether they buy or not, or just click a button, whatever, it takes about 7 views of a resource before they'll actually pay attention to it and maybe read it or maybe click a button. Seven exposures or 7 what do they call them, impressions before they'll actually take any action. So it's a long-term game, you know. It's not going to one-off hit and miss impulse buy thing anymore. We have to develop the interest that we want to lead people to solve their problem.
Exactly. We can't strong arm people anymore. They're too informed. The internet makes it too easy. Kind of brand you are. Are you one that they can interact with and get to know and like and trust, that they can trust in the future? Or are you one of the big boys that wants their money but don't feel like they're important? And it comes across in your content. It'll come across in your videos quickly if you're making your videos strictly for money. And today's audience will not watch content that they view as strictly after their wallet.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I thought was really, really critical was the platform concept, because some of the people were talking about the various platforms. Of course, you have YouTube. Of course, you've got Facebook. And there's also Mixer. There's also Twitch. There's also several other things. But we're supposed to basically be promoting where our people are, where it is that they want to play, where they spend their time, and so forth, where they consume their data. But there's also the fact that different platforms, people do different things. And so inevitably, when they compare the difference between the 2 major ones, YouTube is one and Facebook is another. And Facebook is trying to catch YouTube for being, you know, the video dominant platform and so forth. And there are reasons why they probably never will. And there are reasons why it doesn't matter. And one of the statements that was very interesting, YouTube videos, this is from your videos that you presented us, Tim. Which one? YouTube or Facebook? YouTube or Facebook? Which platform are you going to go to? And there are differences. So when people are saying, oh, yeah, we can go be live TV and do Facebook, and it's really easy and blah, blah, blah. But the listening audience is different, and they treat the videos different. So the end result was this. YouTube videos have better longevity than Facebook Live and way more SEO influence. So Facebook has better live audience. You'll get more people right now but the video is dead after 1 week. You'll get 0 views after about a week. I mean, there will be exceptions to this. There'll be some that go viral, some that do something odd, but not necessarily because of your intent. It's because of the people's response and reaction and what they want to see. But in YouTube, there's a longevity to it. There's a building process. There's a replay, prolific replay opportunity. And there's a life that is generated from the YouTube videos that can extend way past what Facebook does. So you have to know what the people's response and interaction will be. And to get the response that you want, be in the right platform in the first place. So you can do Facebook, you can do YouTube, you can do both, but know what the people are doing and know what kind of response to expect. So that was one big thing I took away from the videos.
And right along the line with that is that Derral and Owen and Jeremy and well, literally all the speakers at Video Marketing World made basically the same point. You have to respect the platform. Doesn't matter if it's Instagram. If it's Instagram, do it for what the audience in Instagram wants. There's nothing wrong with doing multiple channels. In this case being YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, whatever. But tailor your content and your presentation to each audience. Give them the respect they're due, because each viewer, whether on a replay or live, they're still a person just like you. And they deserve the dignity of you respecting why they're on that platform in the first place.
So the platform pretty much dictates the nature of the beast, the nature of the people in general. And if we really analyze that, it's a really good starting point to know how we're going to produce our content. And so it's really a different thing. I'm just producing this show once a week and a couple of other things, but I'm producing this show. But the main intention is I expect people to come to my website if they want to and spend an hour with us. And inevitably, I'm really surprised that so many people do spend an hour with us, and I really appreciate that. And part of it is because Tim is a lot better at displaying content than I am. And so so I'm stumbling around with this right now, and I'm going to actually display a comment.
Well, you're working on bringing that up, then I'm going to bring in Scott Scowcroft's comment, because he's over on the event page on Google Plus.
Okay.
Is we were talking about the fact of the right way to do the videos, and he said you're both right. Nowadays, there are so many options out there that almost any sale is preceded by first by the trust and relationship, the know, like, and trust building. And that takes place in real time, not internet time. It also explains why Amazon is so popular. And he makes good, valid points there. Aaron is asking, offer valuable content and they will buy. Yes. Yeah, but they will. But it has to be valuable to them, and it has to solve a problem in a way that reaches their heart.
And the mistake people are making is the comment is true. The comment is true, but it does not mean that they're going to buy whatever it is you want to sell. The value of the content is in the eyes of the consumer and what they derive from what you're telling them or what you're sharing with them, what you're bringing to the table. But valuable content does not mean sales. It can mean sales, and it will be supportive of sales, but whatever you're selling has got to have a really damn good purpose and solve a really good problem, and then it's worth buying in the first place. They're not just going to buy because they like you.
Yeah.
So it all boils back down to how good is your product, how good is your service, and will people buy it in the first place, not whether your content is selling your product. Your product has to be worth buying in the first place. And that's my that's my comment on that one. Hey, by the way, hi Scott, how you doing? And I'm glad you're commenting there. You're catching them on YouTube. Is that where you're catching Scott?
No, it's actually on the Google Plus event page.
Oh, how about that? I forgot to turn off the comments. Well, I would ask you this, Scott. Would you consider coming over to the event page on the VCP plugin, the events plugin page? That's DIYLivestreamingshow.com.
The link is up in the top.
If you just go to the conversation
on details,
right, and click that link, it'll take you there. But it could be that this is the event
might be an
page
easy way for him to do right now, depending on where he's at. So
exactly. So hopefully you might come over, and that way we can watch your comments along with everybody else's right here in the event page. But people are commenting, but we're not seeing a lot of valuable contributions, but they are involved in what we're saying. So thank you very much for that, you guys. And let's go ahead and continue on, because I've got a stack of things that I could bring up right now. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention before I put the thumb screws on you for content?
I would like to address Lowell Ann's question a little more and find out, did we answer her question about the meaning of gush? Because she asks, is that slipping on a banana peel? Is that the banana? Vivek explains that it's a term that's used by Derral Eves in the first video, but I want to know if she got her question answered, or if we need to expand on that.
Okay.
And Roz just joined us. Hi, Roz. Glad you can make it.
Hey, Roz. Thank you for coming in and joining us. But let's consider this. Then I've got a few things that I was hoping to bring up with this. They talked about funnels, and funnels are a concept that's left a really bad taste in my mouth for the last couple of years. But funnel is indeed a structure that takes people from an opening entryway, a nice, easy way to fall into the funnel, big, wide open space, lot of interest, and it's easy to say, step over the edge and fall into the funnel. And then it gets more and more critical as you move down the funnel, which in the case of the people in the videos in your conference, the stages of working down the funnel are you give better and better content that directs people to the ultimate solution, which is, of course, the prime offering that you have. So do you remember anything from the discussion of the funnel, and what was your take on that?
Well, the key is to using the funnel the right way. You can do it two ways, but the thing about I thought was interesting was one of the things they gave. Now, whether I misunderstood them or not, I can't swear to, but I got the impression that you're taking them not down, just flush everybody down the tube and see what sticks. You're actually giving them a filter level they're comfortable with, in a way to walk away and come back to the next step. So you're showing them a nice, comfortable, easy path to take steps down a staircase to the bottom goal, which is the buy button or the purchase of your product or service.
What I saw was that there were 3 tiers, and each of the tiers had 3 videos aligned with it. And so basically the concept, or in theory, is you apply 3 videos that at each level confirms the intention of each level.
Yes.
And you can take them and lead them from one video to the next, progressive video to the next one. And if the people are congenial about the content and the delivery, they will absorb the critical content that will then prepare them to move down the funnel, not just a casual drop in, but really leading people consciously by what you produce in the videos. Their consciousness is being led to more and more stuff that makes sense to them.
Yeah, and the way we're both looking at it is really true, because at the same time, the way they describe doing it through those levels is they had the option to take that next step. But did you do everything in the first step to make it comfortable and make them eager to open the next door?
Right. And so these three levels, by the way, were described as the objective level, defining the objective. You have to decide in the opening of the first level, you have to figure out what is it that you want the people to do. What is the objective? And then the second stage below that is developing a more refined strategy for directing the people down the funnel. And the bottom level was that you have to really specifically figure out the tactic, which is going to be the triggering mechanism that will cause people to say, yes, my answer is yes, I'm going to buy. And so there's a strategy to the whole thing overall that causes people to make the next step. And it does it comfortably because people don't want to be pushed down the funnel anymore. That's why the concept of education-based marketing is so much more valuable nowadays than getting the best ad results and the return on investment from a single ad placement or something like that. It's no longer an impulse thing. We have to educate the people as to why they want your product. I mean that's the bottom line. And when the people are educated about it, then they come to the conclusion like, not only do I like this guy that just led me on this journey, but his is the best product or service that I've seen, so I'm going to go to him and ask him how much it costs.
And one of the things they emphasized during that section, if I remember the section right, is, like I said, I'm still processing and rewatching, is that they made the point is, don't be afraid to admit that if you're at this and you're doing this, that you may not be the solution for them. Don't be afraid of telling them that this is going to be a better solution when you're doing that initial intake qualification.
That's a really good point, Tim, because I've been a prolific proponent to this concept that help others. I mean, first of all, help others and give and help others and be of service to people. And that means if they come ask you for something that you don't sell, you don't say, I don't sell that, go away. You still have the opportunity to make a friend, an acquaintance, build a relationship, and help that person on their journey, whether it's to you or not. So we have to be open-minded about that and help people regardless of whether they're your client or not.
Well, and that's the thing is, even if you do the same thing as Joe business over here or Jane business over here, you may not do the same things. Just like I was having with someone this morning that in video editing software, certain types of video editing software is made for a certain purpose. One is better suited to special effects, and one is better suited to video editing, and one is better to short clips, or what we used to know as GIFs that are now known as 6 to 30-second bumpers. And it's like that with your business. Acknowledge that, yes, I'm helping someone live stream, I'm helping someone fix their plumbing or whatever. Great. But how well do you do fixing pipes or clearing drains compared to fixing their air conditioner? Just because you have a air conditioning repair guy on staff, can they do, your competitor, if you will, do a better job And now you've got a friend as your competitor. He's no longer just your competitor. He's a friend, and he's going to refer back to you. You know what? We could do this, but this guy's actually better at it, and you'll get faster service because we have this type of load too. So it becomes reciprocal, and the customer remembers you because you helped them solve this problem the most efficiently without brushing them off or leading them down the wrong path and then them being a disappointed customer.
Tim, it's really an opportunity that we miss so much. I'm sorry, I've got my light shining on me now. The opportunity that we miss by not helping people where we can or could or have the option, even though when it doesn't lead to us, is that when we direct people to another destination for their final purchase, they can't believe it. And they're so thankful. They go, man, I can't believe that he passed by trying to sell me something that he does sell by directing me to the thing that I really need. And the customer really appreciates that because they don't want to waste their time or money. And when you help them achieve that, you're the one that they remember. And that if you're going to have a legacy with your business, I'd much rather have that legacy than a lot of others. And so I'm really glad you brought that up. It's a very, very important thing there. So go ahead.
The other thing that we need to look at when we're doing our content and we want to direct them towards this funnel that walks them a little more informative, a little more helpful. It's not, you don't want the funnel, but wait, there's more. If you get this, you'll also get in value. We had that discussion on the Land show, if you'll remember.
Yeah.
But when they come to you, people want to know, they want to go, they want to do, they want to buy, or they want to watch when they're looking at your video content. The trick is creating the lightning rod effect, as Derral Eves called it, to draw them back to your content so that it's always, they find it beneficial, whether they're there to learn something or to do something or just to watch for entertainment or buy something. Maybe they're entertained by your content and that's what led them to buy, but now they're coming back because they want to see what other way you're going to entertain them as well.
So this light shining on my face might be getting me more followers than the words coming out of my mouth. So anyway, that's a really, really good point there, Tim.
One other aspect to look at when we're doing videos is everybody, they want that one hit wonder, that viral video that brings them millions in sales. But you know what? If you make shareable content, they come back for new content every time, and you reinforce your position more solid and more clear, and that viral has a better chance to happen. I liked the fact that if we focus on the word shareable instead of viral content, because shareable can happen more than once, and we can develop the mindset for that. Viral, everybody thinks they got to have the cat video just right, or the bird video just right, or the falling on the ice video just right. But does that really sell your product? People see what service you're offering, what solution you're providing. Even if you're not selling something, you're just providing entertainment and instruction. Make it shareable. And forget that the word viral exists when it comes to content. And that applies to video or written content.
Agreed. Because the whole concept of viral is very, very misleading, I believe. And people think that if they can just get viral somehow, that'll make them something. But it's not that. You don't have any idea what's going to go viral. Nathan was talking about one day that he had something go viral, and he was doing something very casual and nondescript, and people loved it, and thousands of viewers were watching it. And he go, God, I can't figure out why so many people watch this thing. And it very well could be that, but it's basically humans reacting in
And
human
it's
nature.
relatable. Yeah, they can relate to it. Lolan replied back, she didn't think that Derral explained the gush very well. No, Lolan, it isn't a punchline or something necessarily makes them laugh. Can it be? Yes. But it comes back to that shareable part again. And what makes something shareable? Why do you share something? Why do your friends share it to you? That gush is the emotional connection.
It bums me out that you got that talking about that before I could get this shared. I was working on it. So I'm
okay.
just playing catch up, that's all. And yeah,
well, I'll face it, I've had more practice.
But I wanted, well, plus you're usually not mouthing off the way you are today. And but the whole subject of this I wanted to bring up so you could talk about it more. So I'm glad you are.
But that's the thing is, if I was mouthing off, I apologize.
Not at all. I just use that phrase, but I mean that's our job during a 1 hour show.
Okay. So it's that emotional connection, Golan. If you think about the stuff, whether it's written or it's video, you share it because it struck a relatable or emotional trigger in you that you knew would also benefit someone else.
I think that we need to take it beyond that, because what we're trying to figure out is what is the gush, and we can describe it and describe it and describe it, but actually it's the feeling that happens as a result of the punchline. A punchline is a punchline, but the gush is the response of the people when they hear the punchline, and they go, oh my God, the feeling of the energy that surges forth. That's the gush, and that's the response that we want to get from people when we're creating content, when we're telling a joke, when we're telling a story, when we're telling whatever. When we say, here's why I just said this, and the people hear the answer and they go, they have an aha moment. And there's the gush is when it's spontaneous, the laughter or the feeling, the joy, and sometimes the anger, whatever it is, that's the gush. The response, that human nature response, it just comes out. You can't predict it, you can't calculate it, but it happens. And that's the secret sauce that we're all looking for.
Exactly. It's like I said, and you just said so eloquently, it's that emotional snap that made us react.
Well, that might have said it better than I said it. But that's the whole thing. And to get to the bottom of that takes more than just analyzing what it's called or how we did it, but the response and reaction from the people. When we evoke emotional response, that's the key. And then how big the emotional response, if it's big, that's the gush that we're looking for. And when it happens, it makes the overall scenario memorable, and people will watch you can listen to the punchline of a joke, but you got to hear the whole joke, right? So I mean, the punchline's good, the gush is good, but the whole joke is what makes the punchline and the gush so valuable. So the setup,
exactly, the setup and everything is the point I was going to make too, is that we've all heard bad jokes, and our reaction was, and we don't share that with our friends.
Very true.
But that joke that has that gush and the relatable story leading to it, we tell over and over. Our friends are going, oh, he's telling that one again.
We've only got 10 minutes left. We got several things that I was hoping to cover, but we're not going to get around to it. One of the things that was covered was the concept, the concept of retargeting. And the retargeting is often, sorry. The retargeting is often after someone comes by and say window shops. We know that they've looked at something. We want to say again, hey, just in case, are you sure you don't want to see this again and maybe reconsider buying this? And so we're going back to people who have been walking past or whatever. So retargeting is not just taking something, recycling it, but it's actually paying attention to what people did and then focusing on them because of what they did. And part of the retargeting is showing an ad again or redirecting or leading people to another destination that may be more helpful than the one that they had, or maybe an adjacent concept to something that they bought that they might also be interested in, and doing like that. I wanted to bring up one case that I can think of where retargeting is utter failure. And that's this. Walmart, you suck at this. I'm so sorry. I love Walmart. I like a lot of things. I buy a lot of stuff from Walmart, but Walmart online, you suck at this. And I'm going to tell the world right now. When I shop at Walmart, there are several things that I'll look at, and their system itemizes those things. It keeps track of everything that I've looked at, right? And then I buy something. And then the following days, I get all these ads about stuff that are identical or the similar kind of replacement to what I already have bought. Now, this is terrible retargeting of a client, of a customer. And don't show me stuff that I've already bought. They have no way of understanding the metrics of that. But I get ad after ad after ad for days and weeks about the stuff that I no longer need because I've got this, the thing that I chose. I've got it. So don't show me another pair of shoes after I bought the one pair of shoes already. Show me something adjacent to the shoes. So they have a system that needs...
Show me the socks to go with the shoes that I might want to buy.
Exactly.
Or the slack, the belt, or whatever the case may be. Exactly.
Their system needs some refinement. And so when we're putting together our concepts for marketing, our concepts have to be more relevant than Walmart. Does that make sense? I mean, a simple little thing, I think they're probably losing millions of dollars because their machine is set up to show people ads of stuff they've already seen, already bought, don't want anymore. How purposeful is that? So retargeting, make sure you design your machine properly. So Tim, there were maybe a few more things that I would want to add. The comparison of Facebook and YouTube being one of them. I'm a YouTube fan, but I will say this. I've said it for years. If you want to advertise in Facebook, you can do that and you can be effective, but learn how to do it right. It's like AdWords. So many people say, oh yeah, I want to put some ads in AdWords and make some money and get a really good return. And I want to write good ads and I want to get a lot of click-throughs and sales and so forth. And then they go, yeah, I just wasted hundreds of dollars on this ad that did not produce. And I got terrible response and nobody bought. If you don't know how to use AdWords, it's a trash can. It's a toilet for your cash. So it's the same thing with Facebook ads. But if you learn how to use Facebook ads properly, they can be effective. You can't just have an ad. It's got to be the funnel effect that we talked about. You have to have design.
The elements have to be in place, including the structuring of the ad.
Correct. And in the process, if you're going to do this, one of the things that I recommend you doing is register with Facebook as a business and get their business manager app, which is free. And we don't have time to go into it, but they covered it in the videos somewhat. And they talked about it. They'll give you more information, but the education is a lot more. You got to learn what you're doing, but the people are teaching it, so this might as well. And but anyway, it's called the Business Manager app in Facebook. You can get it if you register your business, and it's free. So it's something to really take a serious look at. And that might be the wrap up for me. I'll give you a minute here, but the only other thing that I wanted to emphasize is what Owen said. Owen Hemsath was talking about organic being so prolific, and it does not necessarily cost anything. You're not necessarily spending a bunch of money on an ad. You just made some really good content that people want to share. So it's not about spending money on advertising in content creating and in YouTube or Facebook. It's about creating good content. And it all starts there anyway. So why are we reaching so high into the metrics and how to promote something when you haven't got the right thing to promote in the first place? Work on your good content. Start there. Work on your content.
Well, you know, in the video that you'll see where Dennis Yu and Logan and
they're the ones that said
the ladies, they were talking about the YouTube ads and the proper, you know, and the key thing is they were making very strongly the point about the ad. Make the content and boost the content that grows naturally. Don't spin your wheels or waste your dollars boosting the content that nobody wants, because they're not going to want it just because you paid to boost it either. They're still use your advertising dollars effectively. Posting on YouTube or AdSense, AdWords, or Facebook, or any of these other platforms. If the content isn't generating traffic on its own, then all you're doing is throwing good money after bad. Use the good content and use that money to boost that good content larger to be more effective.
I think I could maybe clarify that even further by drawing a picture like this. If you have 10 videos out there and one of them is being really generating several hundred views while the others are doing 40 or 50, if you got the one that's generating several hundred views, you spend your money promoting that one. You promote the one that's working, because what you want them to do is consume some of your content and remember your name, so maybe they'll consume more of your content. But if they don't see the one video and you don't help people see the one good video that everybody wants to see, you're losing a lot of opportunity there. So that's a really good point. Spend the money on stuff that's already catching awareness and being shared and has the potential to get more viral than it is. That's what you boost. So it makes a lot of sense. Well, Tim, I don't know how much more we've got, but I'm going to give you a chance to wrap things up here and turn the helm over to you while I check what's happening in the comment stream again. And it's all up to you, buddy.
You know, it's the one thing that I can say is that the future is video. Those of us that are interested in that topic realize that, and we want to use video most effectively. Start now by viewing the videos that Jeremy Vest, VidPow, presented and made available free of the one-day conference. The information in there is invaluable. And then seriously realize that two things happen when you go to these conferences. One is you regain and recharge your batteries and energy. Two, you walk away with more than your money's worth. They provide more value than they're asking. You got to realize that a large percentage of the costs that you pay to go to, whether it's a Vid Summit or a VidPow Video Marketing World or Social Media Marketing World or whatever, the largest cost of that ticket that you pay isn't the speakers or your registration. It's where they held it. So the guys, they're not really ripping you off. And you might think that, well, man, it just costs too much. They're asking too much money. But they still have to rent the building. They have to pay the bills for while they present this event. And, you know, when you rent a building, they don't always include in the lighting and the internet and all this free. Sometimes you have to pay extra for that when you structure your event, depending on where you're getting the event held. So don't look at the price of the event. Look at what it delivers, what will benefit you, and how you can use it to grow you and your business and your video presence. And the price becomes nominal.
So cost effective is cost effective. And if we put a little thought behind what we're doing and quit shotgunning our promotional ideas, I think it will be much, much more effective. And pretty much what we talk about when we say min-max your media, that way with the minimum of effort, you get the maximum impact. And it basically takes a little bit more thought before you act, but that kind of processing goes a long way. That's why I'm called min-max media. And that's why we produce the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties show. And Tim, I guess we're just about ready to wrap it up. And I did want to say that people are having a lot of fun in the audience. And Kathy Pop, she says, yes, I love it when I'm shown the products on eBay asking if I'm still interested. In other words, she's already bought the product, and eBay wants to know if she's still interested. And it's the same thing I'm talking about. The targeting is not good. They have to figure out some better filters. And Walmart isn't the only one, says Barbara Quick. Home Depot and Sears also have done the same thing. So
they're probably all using the same purchased AI.
Yeah, you know, some guys making a lot of money on a machine that doesn't work. And when they figure out that the machine has flaws and could have been something else, the guy's going to go down with his machine, or he's going to evolve the machine to be more effective. And hopefully that'll be the case, Guy, because I don't want anyone to go out of business for no reason. You've got something going there. It's just he's got a tool and he's not using it right. I mean, that's the fundamental problem with the internet today. We have all these tools, but people do not know how to use the tools right. Maybe end of story there, as Aaron would say, end of story. Yeah, but in this case, we don't want it to be the end of story. We want it to be the beginning of a better story. So let's build a new chapter and move on from here. But Tim, is there anything else we want to add to cap this up for the day?
I can't think of anything else without starting a whole nother hour of the show.
Yeah, well, we have to be respectful of the people and know that they probably got someplace to go on a Saturday or whatever day it is for you, or whatever the time it is. I know that in Europe, they're about ready to have dinner, so we'll let people go and have the rest of their day. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much, Tim, for everything that you put into this these couple of events concerning the marketing, the Video Marketing World Conference. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for taking the brunt of the pressure for the day. And I also want to thank all the audience people, Kathy Pop, WeWake, Barbara Quick, Lowell Ann out there, Aaron, and Roz Boundy. Had to leave early, but thank you very much. And Scott Scowcroft actually checked in and said hi, and appreciate you guys coming by, and thank you for using the app, and thank you for visiting Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. We're going to be signing off for the day. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Oops. There you go. Bye now.